Barelwī is a term used for a movement within Sunni Islam of Hanafi school of jurisprudence, originating in Bareilly with over 200 million followers in South Asia. The name derives from the North Indian town of Bareilly, the hometown of its founder and main leader Ahmed Raza Khan. Although Barelwī is the commonly used term in the media and academia, the followers of the movement often prefer to be known by the title of Ahle Sunnat wal Jama'at, a reference to their perception as forming an international majority movement. The movement is much influenced by Sufism and the traditional folk Islam practices of South Asia, having formed as a reaction to the reformist attempts of the Deobandi movement, which was influenced by the Wahhabi movement in Arabia. Etymology: to its followers, the movement is known as Ahle Sunnat wal Jama'at. This terminology is used to lay exclusive claim to be the only legitimate form of Sunni Islam in South Asia, in opposition to the Deobandi, Ahl al-Hadith, Salafi and Nadwatul Ulama movements. History: the Barelwī movement was founded by Ahmed Raza Khan who, after two failed attempts at establishing Islamic schools, finally succeeded in 1904 with the Manzari-Islam. Though very much linked to Pakistan today, the movement's foundation predated Pakistan's nationhood. The movement was, essentially, founded as a defense of traditional Islam as understood and practiced in South Asia. Defense of these beliefs sometimes brought the Barelwīs into conflict with other movements and creeds. Unlike most other Muslim movements in the region, the Barelwīs opposed the Indian independence movement due to its leadership under Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, who was a Hindu and not a Muslim. On the other hand, Khan and his movement, being among the foremost campaigners for Sufism, were largely responsible for pulling Muslims into conflict with Hindus and were primary supporters of the Pakistan movement. The Barelwīs were joined in this by all major Islamic movements in the South Asia, including Shiites and Ismailis, except the Deobandis, the Barelwīs' main rivals. The Barelwī movement formed as a defense of the traditional mystic practices of South Asia, which it sought to prove and support. Although the Nadwatul Ulama Council was founded in 1893 to reconcile the South Asia's Muslim sectarian differences, the Barelwīs eventually withdrew their support of the council and criticized its efforts. As a reaction to the anti-Islam film Innocence of Muslims, a conglomerate of 40 Barelwī parties called for a boycott of Western goods, while at the same time condemning violence which had taken place in protest against the film. Presence: India today estimates that the vast majority of Muslims in India adhere to the Barelwī movement, and the Heritage Foundation, Time and the Washington Post both give a similar assessment for the vast majority of Muslims in Pakistan. Political scientist Rohan Bedi estimates that 60% of Pakistani Muslims are Barelwīs. In Pakistani, many Barelwīs have switched to Deobandi movement due to Islamization and radicalization of the society after the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in 1979. The majority of Pakistani and Kashmiri immigrants to the United Kingdom are descended from Barelwī majority villages. The Barelwī movement in Pakistan has received funding from Barelwīs in the UK, in part as a reaction to rival movements in Pakistan also receiving funding from abroad. According to an editorial in the English-language Pakistani newspaper The Daily Times, many of these mosques have been however usurped by Saudi-funded radical organizations. Beliefs and practices: like other Sunni Muslims, Barelwīs base their beliefs on the Quran and Sunnah, and believe in monotheism and the prophethood of Muhammad. Barelwīs follow the Maturidi school of Islamic theology and the Hanafi school of jurisprudence, in addition to choosing from the Qadri, Chishti, or Surawadi Sufi orders. Beliefs regarding Muhammad: Barelwīs have several beliefs regarding Muhammad's nature, which distinguish them from Deobandi, Salafi and Shia groups in South Asia. He is a human being but created from light like angels, rather than from clay like other human beings. He is present in many places at the same time. He is still witnessing all that goes on in the world. He has knowledge of that which is unknown, including the future. He has the authority to do whatever he desires as granted to him by God. Practices: public celebration of Muhammad's birthday. Veneration of the dead, specifically those who lead pious righteous lives. This consists of the intervention of an ascending, linked and unbroken chain of holy personages claimed to reach ultimately to Muhammad, who Barelvis believe intercede on their behalf with God. Visiting the tombs of Muhammad, his companions and of pious Muslims, an act that Barelvis claim is supported by the Quran, Sunnah and Acts of the Companions, but which opponents call shrine worshipping, and grave worshipping, and consider to be un-Islamic. Use of devotional music. Leaving the beard to grow for men. The movement views a man who trims his beard to less than a fist length as a sinner, and shaving the beard is considered abominable. Mosques. Relations with other movements. Having formed as a reaction against the reformist Deobandi movement, relations between the two groups have often been strained. Ahmed Raza Khan, the founder of Barelvism, went as far as to declare not only all Deobandis infidels and apostates, but also any non-Deobandis who doubted the apostasy of Deobandis. Although conflict has occurred, relations with other Muslim movements in South Asia have not always been hostile. In mid-2012, leaders of both the Barelvi and al-Hadith movements in Kashmir Valley denied that there was any animosity between the two sects in the region. In more recent times, the Barelvi movement as a whole has begun to mix with Shiites more often than before. According to New Delhi analyst Sushant Sareen, in contrast to the substantial financial support given by Saudi Arabia to the Deobandi, the Barelvi movement in Pakistan receives very little of that kind of foreign support, thus being the likely reason why Barelvi jihadist groups have been unable to get involved in the Islamist and sectarian politics of that country. Having been supportive of the creation of the Republic of Pakistan, the Barelvi movement has traditionally held a strong following in the country. Conflicts with the Deobandi. The conflict with the Deobandi movement has been particularly heated and uncivil. While both the Barelvi and Deobandi movements tend to prefer the Hanafi school of Islamic law and accept Sufism, their fundamental beliefs and way in practicing Sufism has kept them at odds. Commenting on this, historian Usha Sainal, in her research entitled Devotional Islam and Politics in British India, Ahmed Raza Khan Barēlwī and His Movement, 1870–1920, stated. Not only did Ahmed Raza Khan obtain confirmatory signatures from other scholars in the South Asia, he managed to get agreement from a number of prominent ulema in Mecca. That occurred in the first years of the 20th century, long before the Al-Saud and the Wahhabi allies got control of the Haramain. The feat was, nevertheless, stunning. The antipathy of the Deobandis toward the Ahle Sunnat on the emotional level becomes more comprehensible when Ahmed Raza's fatwa receives a full explication. Historically, relations between the Barelvi movement and Britain have been better than those of other Islamic movements with the country. According to Pakistani journalist Khaled Ahmed, the switchover from Barelvism to Deobandism and the gradual decline of Barelvism in the UK has resulted in the conversion of some mystically minded Kashmiri expatriates to hardline Muslims, though Urupati, writing on behalf of the India-based South Asia Analysis Group, has described as a myth the idea that Barelvism is more tolerant and moderate than Deobandism. According to the same SAAG analysis, the Deobandi-Barelvi rivalry is also known to be rooted to their ethnic rivalry. Conflicts with the Taliban. The Barelvi movement has taken a stance against Taliban movements in South Asia, organizing rallies and protests in India and Pakistan, condemning what they perceive as unjustified sectarian violence. The Sunni Ijtihad Council, an amalgamation of 8 Sunni organizations, launched the Safe Pakistan movement to stem the process of Talibanization. Terming the Taliban a product of global anti-Islam conspiracies, the leaders of SIC charged the Taliban with playing into the hands of the United States to divide Muslims and bring a bad name to Islam. Supporting this movement, the Pakistan Minister of Foreign Affairs, Shah Mahmood Qureshi, said, "The Sunni Tariq has decided to activate itself against Talibanization in the country. A national consensus against terrorism is emerging across the country." In 2009, another prominent Islamic scholar of the movement, Zafraz Ahmed Naryami, issued a fatwa denouncing suicide bombings, as well as criticizing Taliban leader Sufi Muhammad by saying he should wear bangles if he is hiding like a woman. Naryami added, "Those who commit suicide attacks for attaining paradise will go to hell, as they kill many innocent people." sectarian violence. Analysts and journalists have produced conflicting opinions about the underlying nature of the Barelwī movement, with some describing the group as moderate and peaceful, while others describe it as being affected by intolerance and radicalism in ways similar to other Islamic movements in the region. In the 1990s and 2000s, sporadic violence resulted from disputes over control of Pakistani mosques between the Barelvi and Deobandi movements, with a conflict coming to a head in May 2001 when sectarian riots broke out after the assassination of Sunni Turiq leader Salim Qadri. In April 2006 in Karachi, a bomb attack on a Barelvi gathering in celebration of Muhammad's birthday killed at least 57 people, including several central leaders of the Sunni Turiq. In April 2007, Sunni Turiq activists attempted forcibly to gain control of a mosque in Karachi, opening fire on the mosque and those inside, killing one person and injuring 3 others. On February 27, 2010, militants believed to be affiliated with the Taliban and Saipa-e-Sahaba attacked Barelwī celebrating Maulid in Faisalabad and Dera Ismail Khan, again sparking tensions among the rival sects. Reaction to blasphemy law. On January 4, 2011, former governor of Punjab Salman Taseer was assassinated by a member of the Barelwī group Dawat-e-Islami due to his opposition to the blasphemy law in Pakistan. Over 500 scholars of the Barelwī movement voiced support for the crime and urged a boycott of Taseer's funeral. According to Time, Sunni Turiq rewarded the assassin's family and threatened Taseer's family, while another Barelwī group abducted Taseer's son. Supporters attempted to prevent police from bringing the perpetrator to an anti-terrorism court, blocking the way and cheering on the assassin. During the same period, a number of Barelwī scholars also condemned the assassination. Notable scholars, early scholars, present scholars, notable organizations. In Pakistan, prominent Sunni Barelwī religious and political organizations include Jama'at Ulama-e-Pakistan, Sunni Ijtihad Council, Jama'at al-Sunnat, Dawat-e-Islami, Sunni Turiq. In India, Sunni Dawat-e-Islami, Islamic Preaching Movement, All India Ulama and Mashaikh Board, a body of Khanqah of Kikokul Sharif. Main institutions: Al-Jamiatul Ashrafiyya, Uttar Pradesh, India; Manzar-e-Islam, Bareilly, India. See also, Kanzul Iman, an English-Urdu Quran translation by Ahmed Raza Khan. Notes. References: Riaz, Ali. Faithful Education, Madrasas in South Asia. Rutgers University Press. Jeeves, Ron. Learning the Lessons from the Neo-Revivalist and Wahhabi Movements, the Counter-Attack of the New Sufi Movements in the UK. In Malik, Jamal. Hinels, John. A Sufism in the West. Routledge ppA 142 €157. Jones, Kenneth W. Socio-Religious Reform Movements in British India, Part 3-1. Cambridge University Press. Malik, Jamal, ed. Madrasas in South Asia, Teaching Terror. Routledge, Sainul, Usher. Ahle Sunnat Madrasas, the Madrasa Manzar-e-Islam, Bareilly, and Jamia Ashrafiyya, Mubarakpur. In Malik, Jamal. Madrasas in South Asia, Teaching Terror. Routledge ppA 23 €44. Sainul, Usher. Ahmed Raza Khan Barelwī, In the Path of the Prophet. Makers of the Muslim World. Oxford, Owen Wilder, Sir Elizabeth. Sufis and Anti-Sufis, The Defense, Rethinking and Rejection of Sufism in the Modern World. Routledge. ISBN A0-7007-1058-2. Sir Elizabeth. Sufi Thought and Its Reconstruction. In Taji Faraki, Su'a. Nafi, Bashir M. Islamic Thought in the 20th Century. IB Torres ppA 104 €127. ISBN A1-85043-751-3. External links: Ahle Sunnat Network Pakistan, Dawat-e-Islami, Sunni Dawat Islami of India, sunni.org.uk.